It turned out that Mendel was quite lucky in that the traits that he selected to study were actually on different chromosomes. So they weren't linked. They weren't inherited together. They were independent of each other. He was also lucky that he chose traits that had dominant alleles and recessive alleles. But it turns out that not all inheritance is like that. So we're going to look at non-Mendelian genetics now. And specifically, we're going to look at incomplete dominance and codominance. So first of all, codominance. In codominance, each allele expresses itself in the phenotype. So whenever the allele is present, it gets expressed in the phenotype. And so I'm going to show you an example here. And the classic example is with cattle. And when both alleles are expressed, the coat colour of the cattle is roan, R-O-A-N. And that's when you have a combination of red and white hairs, all mingled up together. So let's go ahead and do the dihybrid cross. So when we've got codominant alleles, the way we express them is with a C. So we've got codominant for the red hair, and we've got codominant for the white hair. Okay, so that is the alleles of the parents. So we're going to cross two parents who are actually roan in colour, or these are the hybrids or the heterozygotes. Okay, so what are our options here? Let's change colour. We have got, so this is going to be the homozygous, and it's going to be red. Oops. This is a heterozygote. This is a heterozygote. I probably should have done it the other way around, doesn't matter. And finally, we have a homozygous white. So we have one red phenotype. We have one white phenotype, and we have two roan phenotype, which is a combination of the red and white fur all in together. So codominance, the way I remember co is I remember this cattle. So co is like cow. So this is cow dominance is the way I remember it. Codominance is when both alleles are expressed. The other one we have is incomplete dominance. And we define incomplete dominance. In incomplete dominance, we have one allele does not completely mask the other allele. So as such, the offspring is a blend. So our heterozygote offspring is an intermediate or a blend. So the way we express this is we have I. Okay, so we're going to look at a hybrid of an incomplete red flower, incomplete dominant red allele for a flower, and incompletely dominant white allele for a flower. And let's go ahead and do a dihybrid cross and see what happens. So a monohybrid cross, I should say. So both parents are hybrids for this incomplete allele. So what are our options here? We have got one flower that's going to be red. We have a hybrid here, and that flower is actually going to be pink because it's not completely masked the other, so it's a blend of the two. We have another one that's going to be pink here, and finally we have one flower that's going to be white. So we have one pink, beg your pardon, so we have one red flower, one white flower, and two pink flowers. So when they're both alleles are present, they're incomplete, one doesn't completely mask the other, so we get a blend. And so in this case, if they're flowers, we get pink. If we have a red and a white allele combined, they become pink. When both red alleles are present, the flower is red. When both white alleles are present, the flower is white. but when they're combined, they are pink. So these are just some of the other examples of the variation that we get when alleles aren't completely dominant or completely recessive.